pretty much, I was part of one team like James for about 7 years, and then I kind of the secretary of the T-Men of Tennessee. I got started yeah. And the only other thing that I really activate in is breast cancer awareness. Like, that's a big thing for trans men. So it's very strange. Like, I mean, I'm kind of glad that a lot of men advocate for that, but it kind of does kind of make you feel kind of awkward when you're going, like, it's kind of hard to explain why you fight it, like if you don't have anybody in your family. Like, I mean, I think everybody should do it, but I've sometimes caught myself fighting behind the lines kind of concept for that because it is a big thing in our particular community. And so that's about the only things that are really
Okay.
I have a question. Oh, is that all right?
You can find it out.
For the full-time women, what were some of your experiences as a woman that you hadn't had before you went full-time? Like if you had any, like your change of perception with other women or societal norms or that sort of thing?
Well, the first experience when I really could tell that the way I was perceiving reality shifted majorly was I had a doctor's appointment at the VA, and the doctor was talking right like this, and okay, this is what's wrong with you, and I'm like going, my eyes are up here, jackass, and I'm like, whoa, I just had some, whoa, okay, and I was like, kind of like, what the hell? I've never had that happen. As a guy, that never happens, because they don't want to look at your flat chest. And the guys won't look you in the eye, because otherwise it could be gay.
Yes.
Yeah. And so that was really kind of strange. Another one I had was summer in Tennessee, and I'm walking to one of my classes, and all of a sudden I was cold, and I'm like, what the fuck? It's like 90 degrees and I'm cold? What planet am I on? And so I've had all these preconceived notions I had where it kept getting destroyed over and over and over because between how other people treat me, how my hormones have reacted, causing my body to do all sorts of really interesting things. It's really been kind of an interesting experience to kind of, because for a white male to go, sorry, I'm not a man anymore, you are losing a huge amount of power. Mm-hmm. And you're like, yes, you're losing power. And I was like, yeah, whatever, like I'm gonna give up power. And I really haven't. I just really make people irritated. Mm-hmm. But it becomes very visible. And I've actually had people in the history department where I was trying to get a master's, because when English wouldn't take me for a PhD, I got a master's program in history, because I can do that. And I had people discounting my points, even though I had all the proof in the world for my points. They discounted my points because I was female. And I'm sitting there going, you've got to be fucking kidding me. And I was just like, this is a reality that my whole life I've been like, I don't ever see this. People are telling me these things.
You hear about it, but you never.
I hear about it, and it doesn't become visceral. Mm-hmm. And these things made this experience very visceral, and it was really, life-changing.
It's not very easy.
I'm also, go ahead. Did you want to?
It's not very easy going the other way. I will put it that way. Masculinity and femininity become a big issue when you go the other way, I think, a lot of times, because as you're feminizing yourselves, which men have certain roles that they have to play. Mm-hmm. And when you transition, and if you're very comfortable in your own skin and you don't care about your femininity because your gender identity, you can be feminine. They're feminine bio guys. You play a totally different role how bio guys interact with you. And now, like for me, I am now the white male that has certain roles that you have to do and how you interact with certain people. It's very intimidating. I learned one of my first realizations that I was passing, just the way I would interact. Like this guy had asked me, randomly had asked me how this, we were in a thrift store, and asked me, this jacket on, right? Like he just saw me. And I'm pretty fabulous, like gay-wise. And I didn't, yeah, and I was like, oh, honey, like that, because as a lesbian, I would say, oh, honey, all the time. But, you know what I mean? But you don't do that to another guy unless you're hitting on them kind of concept. And it was one of those things where I would constantly, and I still have that problem to this day, and most people just think I'm just a big gay guy. But it happens a lot because I try to catch myself and I stutter, and I'm like, and then I sound like a retard, to be honest with you, because I'm like, that's what ends up coming out, like, because I get caught in, because when I was growing up, I wasn't taught how to interact with a male, you know what I mean, as a male, like, you get treated completely different. A male interacting with a woman, even if she looks lesbian, they're still going to say only certain things, and you hear about things that you don't necessarily want to hear about, because you're not really necessarily trained to hear that, and so it's very intimidating to be the white male, you know what I mean? Like, it's very, like, I'm just a little guy. Like, I just want to be, you know what I mean? Like, and to have those gender roles thrusted on you, because our transition happens very, very quickly.
Oh, yeah.
And our hormones happen.
Their hormones, awesome. Surgery sucks. Our
Surgery
hormones,
better.
not so awesome. Surgery is awesome.
Yeah. So,
It's terrible.
we kind of counterbalance each other out. In
We're the
very,
yin and yang of each other.
yeah. So, I mean, like, I was on hormones for 2 months, and I pretty much looked like this and sounded damn near like this. That's a very quick, I mean, imagine puberty, a male puberty, that takes usually like 3 to 4 years in about a year time frame. So imagine the anger and puberty, the concept of it, and all of it just BAM!
And hair exploding from everywhere.
Yes, I'm a big monkey. And, call me monkey. That's, yeah. But the gender roles where it happened, because when we're, like, even, like, for instance, like, James' persistence, he kind of bounces between, and before he's transitioning, he bounces between, so that male might interact with you completely different, but when they know you're a male, like, and there's no question in their mind, like, nobody at work has no clue. They all just think I'm gay, but they have no clue, so I get interacted completely different. It's very intimidating.
I now carry tampons with me. I have not had surgery. I do not need them. But I've had women come up to me, oh, do you have an extra tampon? And that's like, I'm not, is that an issue?
It's really weird.
like, yeah, and the guy's like, oh, dear God. and so here I am, again, not enculturated. And he, oh, do you have, and at first I was like, no. I don't have one. And they're like, oh, okay. And they walk off, and it's not.
How do you react to it?
Perhaps I should be prepared next time. Like 14 times.
Try to get it from the other way. You have to ask somebody for it. That's awkward. I joke with my girlfriend all the time. I'm like, I'm the only man in the world that can bleed with you, baby. I know your pain. Let's eat some chocolate together. I mean, but that's very awkward. Like, I actually had to come out at work because of it, because I had not had a period situation for over 2 years. And where I had stopped taking hormones about 3 months into it, I thought I was going to die because it was 2 years worth. And I was at work and I just kind of collapsed a little bit. And how do you explain that? Why you need to go home? I wasn't going to fake a stomach virus because I was happy, gaily going on like 5 minutes previous, but not anymore. And so I just kind of pulled her to the side and I was like, so here's the deal. I'm a transsexual and I have a period. Can I go home? She goes, yes. I was like, I don't want anybody else in the work to know. And I was like, and she was like, I'll just tell, because the main person that I needed to tell was male. And again, I was not knowing how to, I didn't feel like lying. And so I just busted it out just like that. And she just, because they had no clue. I'd been working there for 3 months and had no clue. And she was just like, I'll just tell them that you have a personal issue at home. And I was like, okay, that sounds great. Appreciate it. So that's the most awkward thing in the world, like being the opposite way. Like I never would have thought in a million years. Like, and I think about like we don't carry purses, and I'm like, how am I gonna get away with this? Like, what do I do? Like, I mean.